and Sona already taken right off the bat. Also, OpTic banning Twisted Fate themselves, even though Crown is undefeated on the champion. He's 2-0, 100% win rate, because Bjergsen also successfully using the Twisted Fate and incorporating especially the Trinity Force build into some of TSM's games.
Saying that giving trouble to the side lanes for sure once you can get that TF going. And he just splits push the game away. Circling around for first pick here on the side of Dhokla. He has been one to pick up Aatrox and get a little bit of priority from meteos in the beginning. And then meteos seems to focus the rest of the map as he is kind of the controlling voice and kind of strategy that's just going to happen for OpTic in the early game. Still rotating around, taking all the time they need here for pick number 1. And it's going to be Lux for Big in the bot side.
All right, they get the remaining big shield support in Lux for Big. See if Big and Arrow can remain consistent in the bottom lane. A lot of their successful games for OpTic have been when Arrow and Big don't need a lot of help down there, and they've been able to take care of themselves. Hovering over the Aatrox, though, for TSM is a little bit of a meme of, I know they had lost quite a few games in a row to Aatrox until they broke the streak yesterday, and they were pretty happy about defeating one of their nemesis. Plus Dhokla, it's his most played champion, and he did get that 2v1. So maybe a little shout out to his performance yesterday.
So the Kench going in the bot lane, that'll be a 4th pickup for Smoothie, and Akaadian Jarvan getting locked in, number 2 play for him. But again, that aggression you were talking about, maybe an identity reason why Akaadian is that slot in for the jungling position.
Yeah, Akaadian on Jarvan, you can go for level 2 ganks, you can power clear. Jarvan, I really feel like, brings a lot of versatility to champion select right now. Not showing too much. Sejuani was already banned out, so Sylas is kind of the 3rd of the top tier junglers. Jarvan, Sejuani, and Sylas are basically the 3 junglers that most of the pro junglers right now are looking to first pick in this first round. Meteos this time gonna be, I believe, his first time piloting the Sylas on this stage. We'll see if he can have one of those big carry performances.
Be interesting. You definitely have to make the plays happen, be confident in each engage. It looks like they have a team that can follow up and do so with that Lux shield, a little bit more crowd control behind you. Can definitely give you the confidence to keep going a bit further. TSM looking for a final pick here of phase 1. Sivir, why not? Everything's going forward already with this composition. Why not do it a little faster?
Yeah, that is a pretty safe bottom lane as well. You know, Sivir spell shield is super useful versus any sort of Lux lane, but he also has a Tahm Kench. So even if he does get hit with a binding, he can try and rely on Smoothie to devour him out of it, and hopefully they don't get attacked early on. And then you transition a bit later. Sivir scales super well. Very good wave clear for the team to try and stall out if they need to, and Tahm Kench's Abyssal Voyage helps you attack side lanes.
Smoothie actually able to pick up that big smite yesterday to grab the Baron in the the 4 smite fight, so he'll be able to run that unsealed again, and they can get tricky around the objectives as TSM always gets to a Baron fight and a little late game skirmishes.
Yeah, both Akaadian and Smoothie both had Baron steals of their own yesterday.
It's gotta feel good. You next. Who it is gonna be this time? We're getting phase 2 bans coming out. Kiana actually towards OpTic here. We've really only seen that towards a few teams be a scare. It looks like they buy themselves a ban with the new champion on the Rift. And what else is left here for TSM to ban out?
I think they should continue to target Crown. Crown has really been a huge playmaker for OpTic. Yesterday, pretty much everybody was in the spotlight, but early on in the season, a lot of their wins were off that mid lane, and so they do take out another one of those attack damage assassins in Aurelia, removing one of those possible highlight plays. Highlight characters.
Haven't really seen her since, I believe it was the week Niski played it twice in the mid lane, got a few wins on it, and then still the ban list. Always see her up on top, just never in the Rift. What do we have here on the last for OpTic Gaming? The Azir's already out. Maybe let the Corki through, but is the Corki something they need? The Akali gets banned out, actually, and I would ban that as well against Bjergsen.
Yeah, definitely dangerous to let him have one of those assassins. They always love hovering the Zed because of
For a second, I thought it was so completely locked in. I was ready.
We're going to get our Mordekaiser. A lot of juicy ones being rifled around with here.
No!
And so far, their team composition doesn't have to give away anything. If it is going to be the standard lock-in here for Corki mid lane, this has been the trend. I believe OpTic will be expecting this sort of pick, though, because they ban out the Azir, and the trade-off has almost always been Corki. We saw yesterday, you know, trying to run Cassiopeia into it. Vladimir is another option that tries to sustain early on, and you become a very big and potent team fighter later on. Plus, it's a little bit flexible as far as switching between top and mid lane. Another scaling mage here, though.
Yep.
Crown, known for his Viktor back in the LCK. This was one of the champions that originally got Crown noticed. This was one of his superstar champions that people associated with him for years. And Viktor has undergone some changes since then. He's going to need a little bit more time scaling up and putting some more AP on it, but see how he matches up. See if he still has the Viktor mechanics and able to coordinate those big plays.
I love that Vladimir hover. I was wondering with arrows, but Big locks it in. Vladimir was played versus TSM last time with Scarlet in the mid lane. His flank was the one that won OpTic the game on that Vlad. So a little shout out to Scarlet there from Arrow and Big as they rotate through the last champions and lock in Viktor and Aatrox after everything. But Rumble as well coming into this composition, it's going to put you right in the frying pan with the Cataclysm. I cannot wait to see as well the Valkyrie or package being thrown over that. We'll have to see how they synergize the TSM's fight comp. OpTic looking like they can get a pretty good fight on as well.
Yeah, OpTic should feel really comfortable with all of these champions. Aside from the Sylas for Meteos, these are all champions that historically these players have had success on. Dhokla, this is his most played champion. This will be his 6th Aatrox game of the split. And that is actually insane considering how contested Aatrox has been, and especially his performance yesterday. As Broken Blade kind of hovered it, though, I think they were also expecting it, and him picking the Rumble into it, you're probably looking for some early action, trying to make use of that Flame Spitter and attack the Aatrox early on.
And they prioritized the Lux as well. Aatrox was Harvard. You thought they might take it for Dhokla, and even in the end, they get something that Dhokla feels really comfortable on. So I feel like OpTic Gaming's got a composition that they feel very good with. TSM can get their skirmish on with this composition. Like you said, safe in that bot lane to start things off, but the solo lanes they are providing for that late game can be very TSM-esque as they get to the fight phase and they have that great prowess. We are getting into the match. OpTic versus TSM. Remember, week 4, day 1, OpTic did take this matchup to push themselves into first place. Now we have TSM OpTic once again to see who can topple the other in the standings.
Both of these teams got victories yesterday. Only one will get the 2-0, though. Who can finish the week strong here? Are we going to get Samsung White Crown on the Viktor? Harkening back to his super successful debut in the LCK.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Well, thank you.
Defensive spread out here. OpTic do have a Lux, so possible bindings coming through on an invade. That was really successful for them yesterday. Meteos was on the Olaf, and they went for the level 1 invade. They got such a good early lead. They might try and force Broken Blade over by the back of the Baron pit. He doesn't go that route, though. Defensive route up into his own safety. And it will just be the ward kill picked up for OpTic. A little bit of extra experience, though, does go a decent way, at least for solo laners. So you can hit level 2 a little earlier.
And then the variety of runes we've seen people taking. Now Unsealed Spellbook on the Lux as well. Now Big can bring Ignite in. You get all the other choices of Guardian, Aftershock, and so forth.
Yeah, you do sacrifice the all-in defense of Aftershock or the poke defense of the Guardian in order to go for the Spellbook. But we also talked about yesterday the power of supports stealing Baron with Smite. And that can be definitely a side benefit.
So many things you have to deal with now to try and get that Smite fight in. But it always feels better when you're not the one who actually has to make that hit. Coming in is the advantage on the Smite fight.
Yeah, plus with the Spellbook is a little bit more offensive of a look. When you're playing against the shorter range Sivir and Tahm Kench. Broken Blade having some fun here up on the top side. Both of them hovering around the minions here. No damage dealt so far, though. Only taunts. This is just psychological warfare, Riv.
Either really good at dancing or they've choreographed this, kind of like they're just doing karate around each other and making sure it doesn't hit. It's very,
Yeah.
very beautiful dance.
That's like a capoeira one.
There you go.
Ah, the damage has actually been
Whoops.
dealt. Truce has been broken. The minion dance is over.
Minions are still even, so who's going to actually get the better of each other? Junglers, opposite side-ish of the map. We'll see if they meet up in scuttles here in about 30 seconds. Right now, the lanes just continue to farm back and forth. Expect Zven to continue just auto-push here with Ricochet. Ooh, cannon wave fight. Doesn't wait for it. He's got a bit of caster minions on him. Broken Blade has to deny aggro in the brush. Back to fighting and comes out very nice on that.
Good devour there from Smoothie. That's what we're talking about as far as drafting for a bit more safety here in the bottom lane for TSM, dealing with possible bindings landing. A lot of answers there. Meanwhile,
Uh-oh!
not that
And
safe.
down, heal goes in, but it's going to be another auto attack coming in. Arrow picks up the first kill of the game, and Big is out safe. Great job by OpTic for first blood.
We take our eyes off him for his second Riv, and the Big flashes in. It's because the Devour cooldown had just been burned. There's the Devour cooldown burned once again, and Arrow goes right in for round 2.
Feels bad, man. It's like he just died, got a stock back, and came at same health back. This is
Oh,
terrible.
my.
Arrow's done a great job of getting his health back down on the side of Zven. And you have to be worried about a Lux in lane. It's an Ez. You're not going to take too much damage, but if you're bound and Lux starts coming in, it follows up nicely.
And remember, we had just seen the last binding land. So Big lands both light bindings there in quick succession. The cooldown for light binding, several seconds shorter than Devour. Devour's like, let me look it up here. Almost 20 seconds cooldown early on at level 1. It is 20 seconds, so as soon as you see it burn the first time, he goes back in to take advantage of the super long Devour cooldown. And they get the kill, plus, like you're talking about, as soon as the teleport is used for Zven, Big hits light binding number 3 for another big chunk.
Let's see if he can keep it up in that boss side. Arrow now 1-0 goes back, so he does not go down. The previous matchup between these two teams was a 40-minute back and forth slugfest, and Arrow was deathless on his Xayah for that game. So feeling pretty good coming up TSM once again to start off with a kill there.
Meanwhile, on the top side, Broken Blade trying to push Dhokla in to the tower. This leaves him exposed to a gank, and Meteos is headed up there. Are they going to make it happen?
Walking through the wards, so he knows they're going to make it stick or just chase him out of lane. Shane Last just missing as he's overheated. Easy walk out there as Bjergsen is pressuring Crown under the turret. Very low on mana, so may see him back and TP back right quick.
Yeah, he does have TP. Bjergsen might take a tower shot in order to stop him.
Ooh.
Just hesitating.
Yep.
Not going to go for it. And Crown cancels anyway, looking to finish up a little bit of extra money.
I like that choice. Bjergsen's like, I can Foss Bomb him, but I can Foss Bomb the wave and make him stay or lose minions. So a little quick executive decision to make that call.
Akaadian is counter jungling
Yeah.
while Smoothie is taking out the control ward. So it's a bit of coordination there where they want to allow Akaadian a way to possibly make that gank. Meteos does have over, and Big comes to find a couple of the Krugs have already been broken. Akaadian will slip right out. And now he turns his eyes towards mid lane here, waiting for Bjergsen to get back to lane. As soon as he does, they can go for it. Crown has flash. Should be pretty safe.
Kind of hovering the middle. He's not really buying to one side, and if he is, it's that top with his vision. Still there. They might try to get the flash out of him here. Get the slowdown, but he does. Nice gravity field, so none of TSN can come in. And the Chaos Storm is absolutely slaughtering Akaadian here, down to about 210 HP. May be able to farm up wolves here, but he's not doing too much more in the jungle as Meteos looking to be on the hunt.
Yeah, sometimes you go look for the enemy junglers. See if they went for a greedy camp afterwards. That's exactly what Meteos did. He was wondering if Akaadian, after taking so much damage from Crown, would try and retreat into his jungle to take those wolves. But Akaadian thinks better of it, plays a bit safer, goes back to base. More bindings landing. 2 for 1 on that one.
Very tough lane. You're always expected to take some damage against the Lux. It's just how much can you dodge once you're at your turret. They are going to be there for quite a bit of time, and see if we get Akaadian down here to relieve some of the pressure. Meteos will be right on the heels of that play if it does happen, so they have to be careful. Nice blast cone over. Nobody was seen. A quick lick onto Arrow. This could be that first death of the game that you're looking for. Devour's going to be in range, but no flash there for Smoothie as he already used it to get the first lick down. Now it's up to Big to get out, and he's going to have to TP back to lane alone.
Yep, TSM still get a kill, even though Akaadian going for the flash EQ with Jarvan to try and get the knock up on Arrow. Doesn't land it as Arrow flashes away on Ezreal. TSM still chased down Big though. This Spellbook Lux doesn't have any defenses available. All right, throws out the binding there. Smoothie flashes in to start it all out. Then we see Akaadian try and flash follow the arcane shift of Arrow, but he can't quite get the range. So they'll take the constellation prize and kill off the Lux instead.
Nice little close in to take that out. Big will have flash in a little bit, so maybe they go back to playing aggressive. No reason to hold back on that lane. They still should have a good advantage over Zven and Smoothie. Call for Zven as well, as he's been stacking that up to get a little extra gold in his pocket for the basically farm lane that they have been in so far. 79 to 64 in the mid lane. Bjergsen farming up against Crown, with Crown having a bit of a lead there.
Yeah, that was a pretty big gank on bottom side for Akaadian to change the course of that lane. Big and Arrow had been just throwing out a constant barrage of skill shots that had all been landing. Yeah, and TSM now in a much better place. It allows Zven to get some money back in his pockets to catch back up on CS. Let's take a look at the summoner spells down there too, though, so because we might have a repeat visit. Zven now does have it back on the Sivir, but Arrow will be flashless.
Good choice, yeah, for Akaadian to be on the bot side. A few camps and another repeat, like you said, really start to build up Zven so they can be in those fights later in the game.
Yeah, especially if you look at the mini-map right now. Akaadian just has these two camps up on the bottom side, so he's heading straight down to bottom once again. Looking for possible plays down there. There's level 6s on both Smoothie and Zven, so they can pop the Sivir's move speed to go for one of those engages. And that's why we see Arrow and Big playing a lot more defensively.
Quick ward onto the Drake. It is going to be a Cloud first. Little funsy note in the lobby. Broken Blade said, gentleman's agreement, if it's Ocean Drake first, we remake. Sorry, gentlemen, can't happen. But it is Cloud, so no worries. Go and fight for it. Package used by Bjergsen to get back to mid. Folly's a bit on that HP trade, but he'll be okay as they just farm it up. Blue buff for each mid laner so far.
And I think with the control on bottom side, they might even be thinking about setting up for that Cloud Drake. Smoothie might Abyssal Voyage Akaadian in. He's level 6, let it go for it.
With the True Shot barrage going out as well, they know they don't have that big steroid upgrade on Arrow's ultimate. What's going to happen here for him? Can he get an Arcane Shift to safety? It's the last one before the turret. Last hit comes in too, and he goes down. Smoothie's going to go down to a turret shot as the aggro does not trade over on the TSM members. And again, like you said, Kobe, there'd be quite a bit of action towards his bot lane. Get some money over to Zven.
Yeah, we did have the hypothesis that they would return to the bottom side. It's a little bit disorganized on the side of TSM. They get their kill. It does cost them one, though, and now meteos is down to collect here. Flash on Zven. Can he flash it? He does early and dodges.
It's a game of I can do anything, you can do better, and OpTic's trying to say we can gank better, but can they? One last mystic shot! Picked up by Arrow as he comes back from the dead.
So this time around, they're able to get the counter kill. He gets back in time for the cannon as well.
Whoopsies.
And Big is styling on him.
The 5-finger fumble Rooski, it happens.
It happens when you think that you have a control ward in that item slot and you actually have a stopwatch. So I believe he was trying to place his ward. Unlucky there. Here's another look at it though. Really good setup for TSM, and they go for Arrow. They know Arrow has no flash. Akaadian tries to go a little bit early onto the second target, though, and that causes Smoothie to have to tank all of that damage from the tower. So that kind of uncoordinated dive does cost them the counter kill there with Smoothie going down. I think that maybe if Akaadian had just gone for Arrow and they just focused on the single kill without being a little bit greedy going for 2 there, maybe they don't have to lose a casualty. But then number 2 here is Zven flashes early, then dodges the slow from meteos, but the ignite is on from Big. The skill shot is there at the end with Mystic Shot coming through for Arrow, and they do get the kill. Anyways, Broken Blade.
Quick flash, a defensive equalizer, which means it's really just pushed off quick by Dhokla. He has both summoners up if he does need to get back to lane, or needs to flash to safety. In the eyes of Akaadian, though, and that means meteos is close as he clears a ward. Looks like Bjergsen's going to get a push on mid lane without Crown in mid. Looks like Bjergsen can do some free farm, but will not be roaming top. Map still a little bit stale in terms of big roams coming from the solo lanes.
And meteos just passes on by to steal away the Rumble ultimate there. Very good ult for Sylas to pick up. We'll see if he can make something happen. Akaadian, though, walking through 2 control wards.
We just talked about no roams going down, but when that wave is clean, why not put some damage down? Play while the mid laners are away. Now Dhokla still has that flash, remember. I'm gonna get out of the way of Broken Blade. Equalizer's down, and you have some members of OpTic milling about in that river as they get scuttle. A lot of tentative plays happening here, but nobody fully committing to lose early plates or Rift Herald.
It almost feels like a spy game up on top side with both junglers working around these control wards. Now they've both been in vision.
Oh, he's saying Akaadian's clearing a ward. That's enough to lay Equalizer down on the top side. It's gone to Duck. Chain lashes out, and meteos picks up the kill on a Broken Blade.
meteos wins the spy games of top lane there. You talked about it. Akaadian clearing that control ward, and meteos had preemptively stolen the Rumble ultimate, which is super long range, allows him to gank Broken Blade while being halfway down the river. He lands the slow, and then he flashes in, knowing there's no flash on the Rumble, to land that stun. Very interesting. Both junglers playing around the information they have on the other.
It's difficult to consider that's going to happen. Usually 4 hits on a vision ward will kill you, not your teammate. So it's not something you've played out in your head just yet. 4-2, 13.5 minutes in. A lot of love for Crown in the mid lane as he blows flash to get out of that quite safe and quite healthy.
All right, looks like we are going to have a couple of resets here. A lot of vision being put down by OpTic, setting up for this dragon down here. It's a controlled ward leading up to both sides of the jungle. Unless the bottom lane goes super aggressive here, I think meteos just finishes up that Cloud Drake by himself, and that will be OpTic taking the first dragon and the first main objective of the game.
Cleaned up there, 128 to 108. As we look at the top side, or 123 rather, and it's not a haunting guys right into the Sork boots. It did have to be that Seeker's Arm Guard to start off for Broken Blade so he could weather the storm that Dhokla was smashing down on him. Not terrible, still gets a bit of AP and gets to stay strong in that lane, but cannot turn on his Rumble with Love Suit as soon as you hit your ultimate. Little love for bot lane here. Akaadian making sure there's no movement in his positioning. He feels like OpTic's going to be too tough to gank anyways, and that's a wasted time.
All right, starts up the blue buff instead. I wonder if he's just going to hold it for Bjergsen to walk all the way out here.
Package?
Yeah, package right over the blue buff. He's going to leash it right to him, so
Nice.
Bjergsen doesn't have to stop at all. Just blue buff on the go, drive-by shooting.
Perfect.
To be able to pick up the rocket kill on blue buff and head right back to minion. Does he get the cannon as well? This is efficiency in your route.
Look at this for Arrow. Iceborne Gauntlet into tier to start off for the Ezreal. Playing the slow kite game for everybody as they think they're going to get chased down by this Sivir comp and everybody jumping at them.
Meanwhile, we have support and jungle moving in tandem for some of the ward clearing. Zven topside.
Oh, good on that. They know the movement speed is going to be there, and actually a good call by Dhokla. You have to remember when you play against champions like Tahm Kench, Nocturne, things that can clear the map, you have to be wary of them joining your fight right away when it feels like you're in a 1v1. Dhokla playing that nice and sound, safe in the top side. He's doing a great job of absorbing a bit of pressure too. This game only had to blow flash once. And we were kind of talking about that earlier, doing quite a bit without resources. We'll have to see what he can provide as the fights come to fruition. Just at 15 minutes here, things seem to be stalling out for what could be our first big skirmish.
Akaadian looks like he wants to engage for the team. Decides to back off. That small corridor is very dangerous, trying to engage on Lux. Good spell shield there from Zven.
You're talking about Devour being a long cooldown, spell shield as well for that light binding. So as many times as Big can get in there, they do it over and over again. He will try to with that long range of Lux. Arrow to the top to continue farming, 143 to 152 as the marksmen keep themselves quite close in the CS. It's the kills that Arrow is able to get this game that he has over Zven. Still waiting for that fight. We haven't seen a teleport from Broken Blade. He can be stopped by Dhokla, so the top lane has kind of been an island this game, a little bit different from what we have seen usually. Usually they're getting all the attention. We've only seen a little bit of a adventure up there once so far. The 2K gold lead from OpTic gives him a bit of positioning on the map, and it looks like TSM is going to respect that for now. Rift Herald has started up. There's Broken Blade getting it handed to him in the bot side as he is forced to blow flash. Thought he could get Dhokla into maybe a scary range, but you don't want to get reset on. turret probably would go down on that bot side. Rift Herald over to meteos. We'll see where OpTic goes with this, as plates are already down.
Yeah, OpTic picking up objective after objective here in the early game. And on the bottom side, we're starting to see why they consistently pick Aatrox here for Dhokla. Once again, now he's starting to earn a bit of an advantage by himself versus Broken Blade in the side lanes. Does force him back to base, and has got a small CS lead for himself.
Yep. By about 23 minutes the first time these teams played, it was TSM's game. The skirmishes, the mid-game fights, everything they were doing had OpTic on the back foot. A much different change here. Remember, that game was also with Scarlet on the Vladimir, something they flexed there in the champion select to show a little love to him for that victory. And now OpTic's looking to get a second win, controlling a bit of the early game. Good kills onto Arrow, but hopefully kills to the rest of the map on the Viktor, who's been farming well, and to Dhokla.
And when you have this type of team setup with the Ezreal Lux bottom lane, you bring a lot of poke power down to these tower sieges. They're actually roaming straight down to Broken Blade's tower right now. meteos heads in, and they should be able to clear out some of these control wards, help Dhokla apply that pressure. Good job by Broken Blade to back off here. Recognizes he's on the weak side of the map. He doesn't have any extra defense in place as the rest of his team is topside. So he has to back off and take a little bit more damage on the tower.
I love that you can already see this game will have a chance, probably, of the 4-fight Baron Smite already, with the way TSM's kind of like, yeah, we might have to concede X. That's cool. We know we're great in fights. Woo! A little bit by Akaadian here onto Crown. They throw it on the Chaos Storm immediately onto Akaadian. He's down to half HP as it ticks again, taking him a little bit lower. Not in the spot he wanted to be. Smoothie comes in to throw it on the stopwatch. Will he make it out? Yes, he does, with a very fast flash. And now the rest of TSM is looking to see if they can make their way back in. meteos steals the ultimate, and you see TSM quickly spreading so they aren't all standing on a possible equalizer that comes through out of the hands of Sylas. A great fight there by OpTic as Akaadian tried to trigger that one for TSM.
Yeah, he went for another EQ flash with Jarvan, trying to get the knockup, but missed this one as well. The Rift Herald activated mid lane to distract them away from the dragon. OpTic pick up the Infernal Drake this time around and got the charge off with Rift Herald on mid lane.
Very confident in their fights and backing each other up. All OpTic members were on board with turning that one around. There's the equalizer we're looking for from meteos on the Sylas that he stole. Over and over again, he's taking Broken Blade's ultimate. It seems like it's going to be a thorn in the side of TSM this game.
Yeah, definitely one of the best ults on the map for meteos to steal. Being able to find Broken Blade over and over when he's got the cooldown on that Sylas ult.
It's going to be tough.
All right. See if they can actually get to some of their breakpoints here. Dhokla had already finished his Death Dance, rushing that one on Aatrox. It's a little bit more aggressive. A lot of the times we'll see them go for the Black Cleaver first, but yeah, it's right into it, so he has tons of sustain in the side lane. He's been utilizing it very effectively, and OpTic now can try and take advantage of the teleport on Crown to send Crown topside. You can see this is a classic 1-3-1 for OpTic, where they have their duo in mid lane, and then both solo lanes splitting on the sides.
What's the reaction? What does TSM want to do? Can they pull a fight? How do they expect the teleports to come in?
Well, one of their biggest tools is the Tahm Kench, the Abyssal Voyage. Now, Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage, the distance did get greatly reduced on the level 1 cast of the ability, so it's not as potent as it used to be in attacking side lanes, but still does give you that little extra jump, that little extra surprise, and that combined with some speed from Sivir can allow you to try and attack one of those side lanes. It's very dangerous though, because you would have to get your minions in place first, and you can see they want Zven mid on the Sivir to basically just continually grind up the minions that are all rolling down mid lane, funnel some more money onto that Sivir and keep them scaling.
See if we can get anything activated with Smoothie. Zven, they're staying on the backside. My eyes are definitely going to be on Zven as we get into these fights. He does have a bit of damage, allowing those ricochets to get his crits off. Probably be watching Crown and Arrow as well. meteos will be in the back. You'll already be able to see him, but really those priority targets for these next fights are going to be big to watch. meteos now topside with the rest of the team as they're kind of smashing these minion waves in and seeing if they can get TSM out of position at all to get one quick pick and really test them at this Baron.
Yeah, you can tell they're getting a little bit worried about their extra vision around the Baron. Couple control wards leading up to it. We're not quite at the point where OpTic can actually start it though, because they have no tank, right? Your jungler is Sylas, building full offensive stats. Nobody really has the armor to tank up Baron. So while there is a very healthy lead right now for OpTic, TSM aren't too worried unless everybody on the map goes out of vision that OpTic are going to rush down that Baron, because it would be very risky unless they had so many members over there to try and burn it down.
Pings out towards the top side. Interesting for what that was. It's going to be Crown and Bjergsen meeting up. Looks like mid's going to stay out for OpTic quite a while here. They're going to have a chance to always move that vision forward. TSM's very good at discerning how to stop.
Meteos!
No. Oh, I don't think they realized this was going to happen. Zven could be slayed right away here as Meteos goes right in. Nice stopwatch. True Shot Barrage just going over the shoulders. Zven as he stays alive. But Dhokla's in! That's the reset for World Ender! What is this from OpTic? Dhokla with the double kill on Aatrox!
Double kill, and they're gonna start up Baron. Every member now gonna be missing from TSM Vision as they head straight in. Huge free wards there. Meteos is still an all-star in the LCS after all these years. He sees the line on Zven, jumps over the wall with Sylas,
But that's
starts the
insane,
engage.
Kobe. What line? It was in a full team. That was so well organized.
This is why you play Sylas jungle, Riv.
Awesome.
Let's get it. Meteos is able to go in. He breaks the spell shield. He's able to jump in then with the Cataclysm that he stole from Akaadian. And Arrow is able to get the flash out of Zven with the Ezreal ultimate. That allows Dhokla to then flash in for the close range Q2 on Aatrox to finish the kill. With those 2 kills, OpTic now wearing Baron can push down a bunch of these turrets. Absolutely heads up play there from Meteos to both see the possibility and also make the call to coordinate with the rest of the team. Dhokla and Arrow following up very well.
OpTic seeing new avenues to make their plays work, and Meteos has been opening those up quite a bit. On the hunt goes in, so OpTic has good movement speed for the time being. That's a Zanya's on to Meteos, so expect those plays to continue to come out. I said stopwatch for his last play, but he actually has cash in the bank and on those 2 core items already. Top lane being taken down by Arrow, and what a methodical game so far from OpTic to, as we said, we were waiting out top, getting their vision down. TSM makes one wrong move, and they're already on second-tier turrets around the map for OpTic.
Yeah, that last play from Meteos and OpTic really proves the point why people are talking about how stopwatch and Zonias are just such an incredible tool for pro play, allowing you to make a game-changing play like that, which is not capable with, an extra amp tome or an extra blasting wand or whatever. Definitely going to be a game changer, and OpTic getting multiple objectives at the same time here. Dhokla soloing up the Infernal Drake while the rest of the team pushes in with Baron buff.
Dhokla has been showing fantastic. You may have thought, sure, we did really great against Echo Fox yesterday, but man, to kind of do this as well with pressure from Akaadian as well against Broken Blade throughout the game has really meant he is making steps in his improvements. And the Aatrox last picked as well, that prioritized the Lux, so if he had to take something else, he's willing to do so for the team. Just overall has slotted in great the last few seasons. 62 at 25 minutes. Kobe, OpTic's pushing the front of the base for TSM.
And TSM need to play defense here. They have the Sivir and the Corki, so they're trying to just focus on the minions right now. Binding lands on the Zven, though.
Oh, follow-up.
Yeah, how much longer are they going to have that Sivir? Zven gets very low, and Dhokla's already on the tower.
Oh, what a... Some of the best timings come from the pros, and we almost saw that coming from Arrow right there.
All right, they're going to continue. Ooh, TSM making a move. Bjergsen teleports into the back. This is going to be it.
How can he split them? The best way to keep them all in a line so you can get a good equalizer out. That's the equalizer that stops on. Bjergsen has entry, but it's not going to actually be a package. He's looking for Meteos to take him down. Equalizer is on the Meteos. If you can get it out, it actually goes down. No ultimate coming in from the jungle of OpTic. Akaadian's low, and that's going to be the laser to take him down. As big as that a sliver of health. Dhokla! Call him Dhokla. He's going ham right now on TSM, and it looks like he's inside the base. Just trying to plant that flag for OpTic. TSM, Zven, Smoothie, and Bjergsen trying to figure out a way to deal with this OpTic top laner, but they cannot. The Fountain is their only solace. 8-3 now. At 27 minutes on the clock, the inhibitors for TSM are falling.
Yeah, they're going to get chased out of their own base. Back to the Fountain there. OpTic will take 2 inhibitors for their troubles, and pull off the reset.
Whew. OpTic, there have been times when OpTic has the lead. We've seen in previous splits, and they kind of rely on that and they rest on it. They're fine having the lead. They continue to pull the trigger here, and it's one of the things we see teams have a very hard time at improving on throughout splits.
Let's take a look at here. TSM know that they have to make a big play because OpTic are on the doorstep of taking down their base. So Bjergsen teleported in and he got that kill, but then Akaadian jumps in with the EQ trying to think that Bjergsen wants to go for more. He's so low though, he immediately dies. And then on the right side of your screen, you saw there, Dhokla gets the first kill, resetting his ultimate with Aatrox, which he's able to chase the rest of TSM off of the turret, back into their base, and allow OpTic to push up and finish their objective.
Backs against the wall. TSM is not a team that ever feels like they are out of the fight, so expect them to come back very hard on these. Expect Akaadian to still be going in with the rest of the team behind when those ultimates and summoners are up. Maybe even if they're down, they'll take that go for broke chance, but OpTic is putting the heat on right now, and 28 minutes. Remember, the first time these teams played in week 4, it was a 40-minute game. Big change here.
Arrow laying it down there on Akaadian's gonna be forced back to the fountain. OpTic already up to the last inhibitor turret. They're making the move.
Chains go out, causing Bjergsen to use his dash. The laser keeps coming out from Big. They're using that like an ace in the hole. As long as it can do damage to the champions on the other side, he is perfectly fine with that, even if it's not proccing his passive. They set up again. Lucent Singularity, Light Binding, everything going out to keep TSM at bay for as long as possible as OpTic starts to walk the minions in.
TSM running out of time. Here they go,
Akaadian has to go. Equalizers across the back time. Big's gonna go down, and that's a shutdown going in for Zven. Big money pickup for him, but can they follow up with any more kills onto OpTic? They're looking to protect the turrets as well as take the fight that will win them their base back. But TSM is looking very troubled at this moment in the game. 29 minutes and just possibly one more before their Nexus falls.
5v4 defense now for TSM. They got the kill onto Big, and they can heal up in the fountain. They will defend to continue fighting here. There are 2.5 minutes left on their mid and bottom inhibitors as they chase OpTic out of the base. Baron is alive though. How far will they chase? Big is about to revive on Lux and head back out. TSM has so much to deal with all these super minions flooding into their base. Smoothie heading out alone.
The only way you beat TSM is to do the unexpected, and Smoothie slightly expecting that. Keeps himself alive. Nicely done. I like the fact that they just sent Smoothie, the one who actually can completely save himself, but that's gonna mean one member down is enough percentage to chance the Baron for OpTic.
All right, Arrow's playing defense now for the team taking Baron. Bjergsen has the package on Corki. Could make a big play.
They want Akaadian right away, not even a chance to 50-50 smite. Remember, there are multiple smites coming in, though, if they do use the Unsealed Spellbook, and they lose Arrow. Here comes the Lucent Sinker, the light from Lux, and it will be Akaadian almost going down. Shield comes up. There's Dhokla once again. Another double for Dhokla. Looking for Bjergsen on the triple. Broken Blade trying to fire in the harpoons to save his teammate. He's going to meet 1v1 with Big on the other side, who's looking quite small in that matchup. Bjergsen looks to turn it around. Dhokla comes up big. Smoothie's hands are in the air, and I think that's TSM throwing in the towel. See if OpTic can make their way to the Nexus turrets here. They chase Zven onto the fountain. It's storming all inside the house. TSM can't get away, and it's going to be the Nexus turret going down. 12-5, a 30-minute banger coming out of OpTic to take down TSM, and the Nexus will fall as the fights continue around the map.
And OpTic Gaming will take the 2-0 week to improve to 8-6 here, trying to make a last-minute climb up the standings. They've got their eyes on playoffs.
Eyes very much on the prize, and where has OpTic come from? What a positive plus for the management, the organization, the players. Everything behind the scenes there seems to be clicking for them, because I wouldn't say much has changed other than very big smiles on the face of those players.
Yeah, they're using some very comfortable champions, well-executed game plan so far for them. I think a very big improvement as well in the bottom lane play. Arrow and Big earned a lot of pressure themselves down there to start the game out. And Dhokla on Aatrox once again. 0 deaths for Dhokla. Big plays coming out and a lot of kills.
Cannot sleep on this guy. Has had his rough times, but seems to have one of those mentalities that can continue to slough that off, be like, I'm all right. Oh, Aatrox this game again? Let's go. I'm going to be the world ender that TSM thought I couldn't be. And now you kind of can't sleep on that. He's definitely somebody who has that Aatrox in his back pocket, and we'll see if he can continue. Before, it was kind of like, we need this guy on tanks. That's what makes us strong. Now we can kind of put that power down.
Yep, definitely going to be a key pick for them moving forward. And I have to say, you know, Crown back on the Viktor as well. The spotlight actually wasn't on him. It was just mostly wave clearing, made a couple of individual plays, but it's about the team play here moving forward for OpTic. Ending summer looking pretty strong.
Absolutely. Meteos in the jungle as well for OpTic is just helping everything across the board. All the players are feeling good, it seems, on that team. Let's send it down now to Pastry, who's standing by for a winner's interview.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Dhokla from OpTic, who's had an absolute pop-off weekend on Aatrox. What is going on, man?
I think I'm just playing well right now. I haven't been dying to ganks and anything, so I think I'm just playing better than average. Yeah.
Do you think there's been anything in particular that's kind of changed in the last week? Because, of course, last weekend was not so successful for OpTic, and now you've reversed that with a 2-0. Has anything changed for how you're practicing or how you're approaching the games?
I think for me personally, I'm just trying to not make any mistakes. Just really hammering in scrims, like, why do I make this mistake, and really just figure out like the root of the cause. So I just don't want to make mistakes, and I think it showed today.
Certainly did. I think it's shown all weekend. My final question for you, though. OpTic, still there in the top 6, ready for playoffs, but you do have a very tough schedule coming up. I want to ask you in particular about your upcoming match with Team Liquid. You kind of upset TSM here today. What do you think about that match next weekend?
I think it'll be a good match to see how we stack against the top team. So I feel like we should have a good chance to win against TL. Obviously, they're the #1 team, but if we win against them, then I'm pretty confident going into playoffs, because I feel like if we win against them, then we'll probably make playoffs.
Well, certainly time to congratulate yourselves. Thank you very much for having a chat with me. We're going to throw it back for more on that game to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. Dhokla's been looking to eliminate mistakes in his play, and hey, a deathless game from him on the Aatrox. I'd say he did near that, eliminate all the mistakes. But for OpTic, 8-6 is, or 8-6 is now the record, tied with TSM for 4th, well within playoff position.
Crumbs called it.
Yes. There it is.
Genius.
And there it is.
It started with first blood in the bottom, and exactly what I suspected. The TSM bottom did not have the confidence, and going up against Arrow and Big, they actually ended up dying, which is just quite surprising to me. So a late spell shield out of Zven gets him killed. That's just one of the worst feelings in the world when you mistime that ability. And so TSM tries to salvage this by putting all of the jungle attention into the bottom lane. And while it does somewhat work out, it really is dirty in the sense that it's not clean. You're losing a lot.
Sorry, it's dirty in what sense? Well, because you had to be. Hey, what? No. Hold on. We got to explore. Stop the presses.
Well, let's finish the replay. Yeah, this is the dirty part, right? Because you get the kill on Arrow, but then you actually end up trading a guy, and you commit the teleport, so Dhoklas get to stay in the top lane, get some plates, get some gold. And then the key thing here that I know we didn't get to cover is that meteos steals Sivir's ultimate, which actually brings up the rest of the team to be in just enough range to hit all their abilities.
Yeah, the snipe by Ezreal at the very end there. And to be fair to Crumbs, dirty has 2 meanings.
That is true.
And so he had to be clear. It was the bad dirty.
Yes.
As in it was
dirty,
not clean.
And dirty in the sense of unclean. Well, caught me off guard there on that one. I wasn't expecting it. You can see there Arrow's resulting lane statistics for the squad. Again, all the attention bot lane. Action on both sides, but OpTic coming out better for it all at the end of the day.
And surprisingly, Crown was a non-factor this game. This is the guy who's supposed to be hard carrying them to playoffs. It was actually bot lane, which started rolling first. Meteos started moving there, and then he's the one who actually jump-started Dhokla. And that's what was so cool, is it was kind of this whole team starting to get the ball rolling together one at a time.
I think it's the result of the matchup. You've got Viktor Corki just farming in the mid lane, and then the junglers are thinking, well, why am I going to waste my time ganking these lanes? I might as well just do it, because they just shoot 2 abilities, the wave is dead, and they back off, so why bother?
You mentioned Meteos. He built a little highlight reel for himself in this game, stealing a couple Rumble ultimates, even challenges.
We built the reel.
Yeah, sorry, okay.
didn't edit
Our
this.
editing team built the reel, but Meteos gave us the content.
Yeah, and I mean, He got a solo kill there. He had better ults than Broken Blade this entire game. I actually think Meteos had a better rumble this game than
Was it clean or dirty?
It was clean.
Okay, in the sense that it was not dirty?
First, he gets a solo kill with it. Here, he pushes them off the turret and makes them have to retreat after getting Dragon as well. He had really good zoning ultimates. He also had the fight that got them Baron. Even though Dhokla is the one who picks up the double kill, he starts it off by finding Zven using the ultimate of Akaadian. So he was using other people's ultimates better than they were, and that was a really impressive game.
But I do want to return now to Dhokla as a talking point, because top of the day, Mark, when we were talking, when we were mentioning bubble teams and what they need to shore up to really snag a top 6 spot, you were looking at the top lane for OpTic, looking for consistency out of it. He goes 2 games on Aatrox this weekend for a 2-0, and today's scoreline was deathless. Very, very impressive weekend for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is someone who is often criticized by the community and the pundits a fair amount, but he actually has good stats. Not great, but not terrible either. And then you start having performances like this at the end of the season. Suddenly he's performing super well and kind of carrying his team into playoffs when they were looking like a team that was going to drop out.
You can't sleep on Dhokla right now. He's going to be able to show up, and I think that a big part of it is that TSM in this draft decided, okay, we're just going to do the Rumble-Jarvan combo, help out the bottom lane, and leave Broken Blade on an island, expecting that maybe Dhokla was going to not be able to punish that lane, but he built up a CS lead and then started threatening multiple solo kills, and I think part of the reason was a really smart adaptation in the build. Instead of rushing the Black Cleaver, he rushes the Death's Dance, so you have a little extra sustain so that you can actually stay in the minion wave against the Rumble while he harasses you with the Flame Spitter.
And I just love the idea of what he's been working on in practice, specifically targeting eliminating mistakes, right? Not necessarily saying, oh, how can I be the game changer or the game winner, while he was in this case in a lot of ways. It's more about, hey, if the attention is going to the bottom side, then for me, the task really is about coming out of the lane phase, even or head, or whatever the expectation is for the match.
Well, I think that if he's targeting eliminating mistakes, the thing he's going to be most proud of is deathless.
Yes.
You know, for this weekend, and that's a huge thing. And yes, the CSDs is great, but if the game plan is still mostly who's Meteos going to jumpstart, whether it is Dhokla or these other people, if you can avoid deaths to make sure that Meteos has an entire team to work with, that's huge.
I do think we also have to jump back over to the TSM side of things and start to wonder what the heck is going on, right? They definitively said we are now landing on Akaadian as our starting jungler. They did get the victory over Golden Guardians yesterday, but not in the cleanest or undirty of fashions. And here they are now dropping a game to OpTic. And so again, give me the sense, Crumbs,
I'll give it.
of this team and what they could actually achieve going into a postseason.
So I think they can definitely stay in playoff contention. This is a talented team, but they're really lacking in the bottom lane department right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to point fingers, but you're putting me in the position
But
to
it's
do
the bottom
so.
lane.
It's going to be in the bottom lane.
Okay.
You're giving up kills in matchups that you shouldn't be giving up kills to, right? Missing a spell shield against a Lux Binding, that's just not acceptable. That's the whole point why you pick Sivir into this matchup. So we're seeing a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes. We know Zven is much better than this, so clearly something is happening in the 2v2 that is not clicking.
OpTic with the bounce back weekend for TSM. Things continue to waver, but they're not out of contention by any means. After the break, Clutch Gaming and Echo Fox clash on Summoner's Rift, so don't go anywhere.